Hello, hello. It's been a little while since my last video. For a couple personal reasons, I decided to take a little break, and also since Season 3 was coming out, I didn't want to spend too much time making videos that may be invalidated very soon. So, that's why I haven't been uploading as much, just been working on some other stuff. But, here we are, patch notes dropped today, and, well, I figured tomorrow a lot of people would want to go into the lab, maybe go into games and start playing, trying stuff, and maybe just like a bit of like inspiration as to what you should look into tomorrow could help. So this is just gonna be me giving not my opinions on the changes, but just ideas as to what you could do with them, or like what they do for Faust and in game. If you want my opinions on the patch notes, I'll probably say more tomorrow. I'll probably stream like labbing session to figure stuff out and just try ideas and theories that I already wrote down. And with that said, this is what this video is going to be. So we're just going to go over line by line and kind of say what this does, what could this do, and what could this be. So let's just read this real quick, just so for the people who didn't read the patch notes. There are also other changes. There's like universal changes and changes to other characters, but we're just going to focus on the Faust bits. So holding down P during what could this be, P being the punch button, results in Faust storing one random item. So it says random, it's basically the random item that you're supposed to throw. This seems to be unreactable for the record, so you won't be able to just tell which item you want to store and store it. The stored item could be thrown with 2-2P or down-P. The changes allow Faust to keep one known item in a reserve, and therefore creating more effective strategies. So it will let you definitely expand and branch out in terms of what you can do and what's your potential. And it will be a very creative process for sure. So for people who are looking for this kind of item play, this is definitely a jackpot win for you. 2-2P or down-P is significantly faster, it seems. We don't have the frame data yet, but it seems significantly faster than normal item toss, which will make certain moves buffed by having just the option of doing it. So you can keep that in mind too. That it definitely changes some buttons in terms of how you can cancel them. Okay, next line. Holding down K during thrust now causes the guard crush effect, so you can charge thrust now, and if you charge it, it will cause guard crush. Allowing Faust to bait reversal options such as 6V. This also makes it a viable option for starting an approach. So we'll see about this one when we get to that buff. The increased size of the hitbox of crouching S makes it easier to connect with bombs in certain situations. So that's the first line of buffs, and I guess that means we should jump in and see what it means. So basically, if you didn't know, 2S had a bit of a dead zone. It's like super tiny. It's really insignificant in my opinion. But there's like some situations where you wanted to lob the bomb. I think it's like about here. No, it's like between his hand and his shoulder. Like here. Maybe just a tiny bit more. Yeah, like here. So as you can see, if you know where it is, you can kind of replicate it. This is super niche. It doesn't really happen most of the time, like in game, but there's no reason for it to happen at all. So then fixing it is, I guess, okay. Overall, not very important. You shouldn't really pay attention to this too much. Most people can just ignore this and it will be fine. Let's move to the next line, and the next line is 6HS increased wall break value. For people who didn't understand what this means, it basically means during combos, 6H will now cause more wall damage, meaning whenever you hit a 6H, then the wall damage is higher. Now, Faust has like some routes where, let me try and kind of replicate this, right? Where he will do this kind of like, oh, fuck. Let me try like this maybe. Where he will do something like close slash 6H, and right now this will wall bounce there. And if you do like, sorry again. If you do thrust there, usually it will wall break, or wall stick, sorry. Then you do 6H for a very high damage ender combo, like close slash 6H thrust into 6H. So now, more often, 6H will cause a wall stick. This is relevant for a lot of our aerial combos, which also use 6H. So this will make our combos generally do a bit less damage, the ones that use 6H at least. I'm very saddened by this as somebody who loves damage and using 6H in combos. But is what is. So just so you know, what this patch line is. Kind of in line with a lot of moves got this kind of treatment where like the combos were a bit nerfed in this version. Okay, next line, mix, mix, mix. And it says reduce horizontal mid-combo blowback, scaling until the third hit. Reduced immediate horizontal mid-combo blowback until the third hit. So what do these two lines mean? A lot of people have been saying this will cause mix, mix, mix to have increased consistency, which is possible. This very well could be the situation where... can I hit Nago? Let me try and demonstrate this. Some things are really hard to demonstrate in lab, you know? Well, if you played Faust, you kind of know that there's like some situations where you do mix, it connects, and then the opponent just kind of like flies away from the mix, and you don't get to, well, you don't get to do a mix loop, but you also don't even get like real Oki because you're still recovering from the mix as they're already in the OTG state. So one option is that this line is basically a quality of life for mix, and it's just going to be more consistent on hit. Seriously, in game this would be really easy to recreate, you know. I even queued up a heavyweight because that happens more often on them. Anyways, dude, I'm trying so hard right now. Okay, whatever. You get what I mean. If you play Faust, this probably happened to you quite a few times. So it could be that the first couple hits will just stick the opponent closer to you, meaning you drop less mix loops and mix. That's a good thing. There is like a world where this is a change to how much you like throw your opponent away from you. As you know, sometimes you want to create space either by holding down free or just to do more wall carry. So it could be that this is changing how that works. Every patch they change mix, we'll learn the new mix, and they'll change it again by the next patch. I would probably, this is the first thing I kind of recommend playing with a bit. Check if your combos are getting changed. Check if like the times where you mix is more consistent, less consistent. Maybe there's something you need to adjust or change. And yeah, that's definitely one of the changes you want to look into. And now for the big change, what could this be? And hold. Now holding it gives a new option, and this is basically going to be an item toss, but instead of tossing the item, you will eat the item, so item eat. And this move will not be counter hit recovery, which is something you should know. And once you do store an item, you can release it with 2-2p. That will be the input. Now item spit will be significantly faster than item toss, or so it seems at least. We don't have the frame data, but that will be very important because having the option of canceling into something that's very fast is something Faust didn't really have access to before. So like 5H into an item spit could be really good. With items such as hammer or weight, it becomes very potent pressure option, especially if you got the opponent at the wall, then you could do like a 5H on block into like a weight, and then they kind of have to hold it or in the corner, not a lot of options to maneuver themselves out of it. Same is true with hammer. These are the two items I'm most interested in storing. There is also a possibility where item RNG manipulation is affected by item store, which means if you hold a trumpet in, you're not going to throw trumpets, or if you hold a mini Faust in, you're not going to throw mini Fausts. That could be interesting. It could cause a situation where you're just holding a trumpet, just say you don't get a trumpet, which sounds funny, but it is a use, so Definitely look out for this. This is probably the most interesting thing to lab and play with this patch, so do go in and try to get like cool stuff with it. It's going to affect combos, it's going to affect pressure, it's going to affect even defense probably, so definitely look out for this one. I'm going to look very deeply into it tomorrow once the patch notes are out. So that's item eat. That's kind of what it does. I don't want to go too deep into the theory so we don't like drag too long. Also, it's just a hypothetical theory, so we'll figure out more stuff tomorrow, I promise. So next thing, banana and banana peel, both remove wall bounce effect, increased horizontal travel distance while ascending. So these are two different changes, which supposedly are two buffs or two quality of life changes. So at the corner, let me change to banana. There it is. So in the corner, as you can see, item tosses, bounces off the wall, becomes a problem. So this will be removed. Item will just hit the wall and fall. Now the second line says it will increase the travel, the horizontal travel, which means it will fall further, maybe more in line with trumpet, which will be nice. Like having it a bit further from us, giving us a bit more space is probably good. So I'm more interested in that change. But the second change basically means opponent always holds the banana. This is, in my opinion, a bit dangerous. Banana, if you didn't know, like resets the opponent's block stun, so it could create situations where you're pressuring the opponent, he blocks the banana, and then immediately can grab or retaliate if they know that it's possible. So we'll have to see how it plays out. Obviously, the situation where you throw a banana and it just hits you immediately or traps you with the opponent there is not very optimal too, so we'll just have to see. There was this situation where you threw a banana peel and it landed right there and the opponent couldn't move forward, so they have to either jump or hold this kind of like zoning, boxing pressure. So I'm a bit sad that this one went, because as the patch went, once we got banana peel, we did learn how to play with this and it was like relatively fun. So this one seems to be going, but is what is. All right, next to the thrust changes, I believe. I think they're the next ones. Yeah, thrust changes. So holding K now activates a new version. Basically, thrust is chargeable, and it also said, and we saw that it gives a guard crush. So let's talk a bit about thrust. So thrust is, generally speaking, it's minus 12 over here, and actually let me tell you to block. Okay, despite being a Nago player. So it's minus 12. In top ranges, I'm a bit tired. In top ranges, it could be like a bit lower than minus 12. It kind of depends on when it hits, but generally speaking, if the opponent is like getting close, or if he did it from a string, it's generally speaking minus 12, which makes it punishable. Now, before, the normal counterplay to Faust Thrust was the universal 6B, or you could jump over it / air dash over it to get a landing punish. That also works on most items. And you could low profile it, which works on item toss and it works on Thrust, and it also sometimes will beat mix depending on your low profile. So there was a lot of counterplay to Thrust, and it didn't really beat anything. We could have already delayed Thrust, as you can see, right? Like, as I delay it right here for people who are auto mashing 6B. So the delayed thrust is not really a new option, but they're buffing delayed thrust. So like now, even if you don't manually delay it, you can always just hold the button, being a bit more deceptive. Now, we don't really know how the animation would look like, and we don't really know what the travel time is going to be like. So we don't know if they could like do a 6P immediately after an H button, for example, then recover in time and still 6P again, or block the next thrust. We don't really know what's going to happen. We'll have to look into the frame data tomorrow. But you can look, this is probably one of the free things you can look into. How does it look like when you charge the thrust? They said it's going to create an opportunity to approach, but since to throw thrust like over here, even if you charge it, for you to be able to approach, it would have to be plus a lot. It's right now minus 12, so I don't know if that really happens. I don't really know if it's even going to be plus at all or just like neutral, but we'll have to see. There is like a world where with items you set up a thrust on block that is charged. Like let's say you get like a mini Faust, and then you get like a, maybe you do like a 5k, and you do like a charged thrust to hit right after the mini Faust is being held. So there's all sorts of, again, there's all sorts of theory I like start thinking about or trying to come up with. But generally speaking, the guard crush doesn't seem like a big deal. But we will see. We will see how it actually plays out. So these are generally the changes. The last change we got is that Bone Crushing Excitement does less damage. This part of the blanket nerfs to supers. I'm a bit sad that we got it too, since our super was a bit underwhelming in the first place, but is what is. It's part of the universal changes. So that kind of concludes the patch note list for Faust. We didn't really cover the Wild Assault. I'd rather do that tomorrow when it's actually out. And we don't really cover a lot of the universal changes. But hopefully this gave you a few ideas or things that you want to look into tomorrow when you open the game for the first time in Season 3. I hope you have a fun time with Season 3 and that you enjoy playing Faust as always. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow with a lot more information and new data. Happy Fausting!